Here we go. All right, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I'm here with someone who is not new to the podcast, but it's been quite a while. I think that last time we talked was back in the old days, the pre-pandemic days, when I was actually interviewing people in person. And if memory serves, we went to a Robin's Donuts that was closed and ended up doing an interview in the winter in a car. But that worked out
I
pretty
was gonna
well.
say, do you remember?
Yeah, it was it was a bit of a weird one, but it was a good interview, and I'm glad that we can catch up now and sort of find out what you've been up to since, especially since you have a new record coming out and all kinds of other exciting things. But before we get into any of that, I think the best way to start this off is if you just want to introduce yourself and give a bit of background about what you do as an artist.
Sure, I'm Paige Drobot, and I'm a musician. Guitar. I play guitar, and I produce music, and I teach a lot of guitar lessons. I do, yeah, all of everything.
Cool. Cool. And then, so like up to this point, I think last time we talked, which again was a number of years ago, you were just about to put out an EP, or you had just put out an EP, I think. And now you were, a few years down the road, you've put out some other stuff since then. And I guess the biggest news right now is that you have a full length that's coming out imminently.
Yeah, you caught me on my first EP under my own name.
Right.
And before that, I was in a band called the Psychics, and all my original music was coming out, or most of it was coming out through that. And so this record is exciting because all the time that I was in the Psychics for a decade, I was telling everybody all the time that I had this album coming out like tomorrow, right? Like, we got this full album, we're working on it. And we recorded this album three times in three different places with three different drummers, and like we kept gigging and stuff, but finally now I have the Psychics album coming out. But it's a Paige Drobot album called the Psychics album
Okay.
because the
Okay.
Psychics is like a totally used band name. Like, you cannot find, if you look up the Psychics, it's not happening for you to find the music. And because I did all the work, god damn it.
Right on. So this is are these old songs? Like, are these psychic songs from the first time
These are
around?
the psychic songs for the first time around. Some of them are like, there's one song on there that I wrote when I was 14 years old, and then there's one that was from like the very first psychic show. And then we did put out some singles as the Psychics, and I say singles loosely because it was a prog rock band, so these are like 10, 20-minute songs. We put out like four or five of those. Um, and then these were the ones that we were saving to do this album, right? And it never happened, right? We had like live album, we had everything but, and I kept saying it like to everybody. So I'm so excited, like, and I don't know if anyone believes me even.
They will until they have it in their hands. They're not gonna believe
Exactly,
you.
yeah. My bass player Cody, he was like from the Psychics, like we were songwriting partners. Some of the songs on the album are his songs, and he sings the lead too. He's like, "Oh, we finished. Did I play on it?" Like, he doesn't even remember like doing it. Like, it's, yeah.
That's
So
funny.
it's fun now.
So are these actually like original recordings from back then too, or have you re-recorded all this stuff?
No, see, this was okay. So we had a drummer in 2019, and we had kind of did a few gigs with this new drummer. And so we recorded the drums at Exchange Studios.
Mhm.
And then I've just been picking away at all the overdubs. And my bass player came to my house, like Cody came to my house and worked on it with me as well. But drummer Nolan's been in Toronto for the past several years, so there's no hopes of live shows or anything. But so it might as well come out as a Paige Drobot record, and I can play some more shows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess maybe a good question then, because some of these songs are so old, is how do you feel kind of revisiting some of this stuff? I mean, like, these are, like you said, one of the songs you wrote when you were 14. That's got to be a little strange to kind of listen to it now and play it now from having this perspective of all this time you spent in the music scene and writing and recording and teaching and all that stuff.
It's totally weird, and like that's one of the reasons I think it took so long, is because these are like sentimental songs. And one of the reasons I had to do it is I felt like a few of the best songs I ever written were tied up in this, and no one would ever hear them and all this stuff. So I wanted to get them like out there. But there is stuff, like there's some stuff that like did not age well. Like, we have this one song called Space Music that Cody wrote in response to hecklers, because the Psychics were we were weird, right? Like, whether they were heckling us about the music or the makeup, or like Cody in his dress would get people harassing him in 2012.
Of course.
Um, yeah. And so he wrote this song, and there's one part, it's like I wonder what the music is like out in space, and I wonder if you need to wear a mask, if you even need to wear a mask. And we're talking about like oxygen masks, but like COVID now, political line, or there's another line in that song. I think he talks about maybe smacking them in the face, and like there's things there's like maybe I wouldn't say that now, right? But it's also that's his song, his name's on it. It's all good. But yeah, it's they never sounded like the way that they wanted that they sounded in your head,
Yeah.
right? Like you have it's hard when you sound really when you have a weird singing voice and stuff, right? Like some of these songs are like, damn, I wish someone else was singing on it. That's a good ballad. Oh well.
Have you been playing some of these sort of throughout too? Like, are these some songs that have ended up in your sets with your own project?
I whip it out in my solo sets for sure. Like I've kept them fresh. Some of them are like more piano kind of ballads too. So, but some of them my band doesn't want to touch. They're like, no, like I'll be like, hey, this is an easy one, you know what I mean? And we'll get going on. They're like, this is not look at how many chords. This is not an easy one, right? Like, oh, um, the Psychics was a band that like made me get good at guitar because my bass player Cody is just such a phenomenal musician. He's just like I just chased him through my
Yeah.
teenage years and into my young adults, right? And like made me get better. Like, yeah, it's awesome. And I don't know if I can even play some of this stuff anymore.
Do you think that people listening who are familiar with your stuff now can maybe kind of see a through line from where you were then to the kind of stuff that you write now? Like, is there an obvious sort of path from that stuff to what you're writing today?
I think so. I think like it's a really big variety of music on the album. Like it's really hard to even pitch it to somebody because I think there is something for everyone, but you'd have to listen to all of it, right? Like, and I've always been that way. I just write whatever kind of song I want to write, in whatever style. Like I really don't so I think it's the same. It's just Paige Drobot songs. It's just older ones, right? Like it's just songs that I wrote. I don't think there's any difference really. I don't think it's gonna shock anyone other than when my buddy's singing, but it's awesome.
Cool, cool. And I guess now you probably have to play some of these, right? Because the CD will be out and people will be wanting to hear them live.
You know, I didn't play any like my last record I put out. We never play live, so fuck it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm so bad with that album cycle proper. I don't care what you're supposed to do. I do whatever I want.
Yeah, I think it's a good attitude to have for sure, for sure. What is the? I know it's not out in the world yet, but do you think it's going to be weird when this thing finally is out there? Just because there's been so long since you've been sort of slowly working at it and promising it to people and stuff like that.
For the people who like it's crazy, like just because they used to play our weird psychic singles on like CKUW and stuff like that and on the local radio. And we would have like songs where the whole last 7 minutes is just us messing with power tools and like garbage and stuff like that, like noise art, right?
Yeah.
So when I told the radio guys, they're like, what? Yes, 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 yes. Like so excited. So that finally, after like emailing a lot, like doing a lot of cold emailing and getting like no response, it's like, oh yeah, the Winnipeg people remember the Psychics. Thank you for remembering the Psychics. Yeah.
Well, and even if they don't, they know who you are now. People have heard your other music, and maybe like
Oh yeah.
you can introduce this weird stuff to them, just like
Yeah,
in the back way.
exactly. To the younger ones then, right? And so it's yeah, it's gonna be so fun. Yeah.
That's cool. And this is on. Is this on Transistor 66 again?
Yeah, I twisted Art's arm. Yeah.
Did it require a lot of twisting, or was he pretty pumped about doing this?
Well, I don't know. He was psyched after he listened to it. I think he was like surprised. I think the Psychics like we did a couple shows that were like straight up free jazz, and I think we had like a reputation that like this is gonna be like a totally free jazz. I think he was like, I'll do anything for you, Paige, and he said yes, and then like listened to it after, like, well, these are songs. These are actually songs. Oh, awesome.
It's not just like 50 minutes of noise. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. It could have been, right? Like,
Yeah.
not lucky.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that this is happening too, because I mean, this is your first full length, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like I'm halfway through doing another full length, and this one's just been it's always just been in my back of my mind, like I have an unfinished thing, like So now that that's done, oh, the next one should be fast. But watch, I shouldn't say anything because the Psychics record took 10 years.
Yeah,
It's
you're
actually
saying it now, and it's gonna maybe 20
yeah,
years from now, people will be asking for that record you talked about on a podcast once. And
exactly. And I noticed that too on the calendar that it was like coming up on like a decade since I'd been saying that I was gonna do it. So like, yeah, I gotta stop procrastinating.
what? How do you promote something like this? I mean, just because like the band is not actively playing shows as the Psychics, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you're still making music, obviously, but it's
yeah,
with different people and all that. And like you said, it's weird and it's maybe just not what people expect. It's hard enough to promote stuff nowadays anyway. Like just with everyone and
yeah.
their dog releasing music every 10 seconds. Like, what
I
do you do
noticed
with
there.
this?
Yeah, like do you notice that everything changes from even just record cycle to record cycle? Like
Yeah,
last record, you could still email a bunch of blogs and they would write about you if they liked it. Now they all like it's all payola, like that's changed in an instant and things like that. Radio stays the same, right? That's the best thing. But how do you promote the I just like to think of artists that I like, and a lot of them are the same deal where they're just going by their own name
yeah,
and they don't have the same band on every record and they don't have the same kind of music on every record. And I think that like if you like me, you gotta like all of it, or you can choose. I don't know, I just promoting it like I always do, and I'm excited to finally like be able to promote a full length and like
yeah.
go for reviews and stuff. And I don't know, a record just buys you another year of gigs.
That's true. Until you have to put something else out, or in your case, 10 years until you have to put something else out.
Yeah, and the thing is, by going by your own name too, right? Like I could show up with a computer and a choreographed dance routine, right? Like you get like, you know what I mean? Like I could show up with an acoustic guitar and just play. If you have a band, like I could show up with my band. I could have a whatever band, right? So it's total freedom to
Yeah.
just be just you, and you can do whatever you want.
Have you done a lot of shows that are in just kind of radically different settings like that, or are you usually
No,
just with the same
I'm just
players?
bluffing. Yeah. No, the worst I'll do is just play acoustic. But I always joke, like, if someone's complaining that, oh, you're just playing acoustic at the show, I'm like, well, do you want to see my. Or, like, yeah, screw it. Like, yeah, like, um, if yeah, I don't even have a laptop, so I'm not going to do it. I wish I could break out the electronic page set, but you never know, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, one day could happen.
Yeah, it would be sweet.
It'd be pretty cool. Um, so is there a release show for this? Like, how is this sort of officially being released when it comes out on the first, right?
So I'm piggybacking on Marshall Birch's release. He's doing a release for his Dog Pops project.
Yeah, I had them on the podcast last year. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been in lots of bands together over the years, and like the Bargains and the Psychics used to play together all the time. So he's got the back room at the Daughter, and then I'm gonna do a listening party in the front room just before the show, like when doors open. So like 8 o'clock on December 1st at the Daughter, and we're just
Cool.
gonna like eat and listen to it, and then yeah.
That seems like a good way to put out something like this too,
Place
right?
to set up and sell them, and yeah,
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 just hang out and have it playing on the speakers. That's a good idea.
exactly. Celebrate, yeah, totally. And I think the Handsome Daughter front room is like that's where we played under every name of the bar, right? Like
We've seen like
how
20
many?
of them so far. Yeah.
Yeah, might as well be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. So how do people hear your stuff? I mean, I know that this is coming out physically, which is really cool. But it's also, I'm assuming, on all the various streaming services and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah, it's on all the streaming services, and I also have like a website, just paigedrobot.com too, that you can get to everything from. And yeah, on all the streaming services. I don't know. I don't use them.
No, I don't either. I don't either. I know they exist, but I
label,
don't use them.
yeah, I have the best deal ever because the label is in charge of the streaming.
Right, right. So you know it's out there
Right, like,
somewhere.
take it. Yeah, you can totally take it. Like, yeah, knock yourself out. Yeah. But and then we're putting on CDs too. So I got the CDs. My cat's biting me. But I actually dropped off some CDs at Into the Music today. So
Oh,
like
nice.
even like if you're super keen, you could get them even early.
Right on. And there's a single out now already, right? At the time we're recording this.
Yeah, yeah. All Right is out already. So the first track on the record, yeah.
Was that one that you kind of felt strongly about and wanted to release as a single, or is it just, hey, here's the first track, let's just let someone have a taste, people have a
So
taste?
hard. Yeah. Usually I have like a plan, and it was so hard because all the songs are so different. So I just tried to like, I don't know, I just picked the first one. And then I'll milk each one as I go. Yeah, speed of promotion, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's how people do things now, though, too, right? I noticed a lot of people are releasing like every song from their record as a single, whatever a
Yeah,
single means anymore in
yeah.
2023. But
Nothing means anything. So just yeah, I don't know. Nothing means anything. Just do whatever you want is really the answer, right? Like I
yeah,
don't know.
well, and obviously the ideal way I would assume to get this record is to go and buy it at a show when then see you live.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have anything happening in the relatively near future as far as live shows that people might want to check out?
Right. So I think the podcast will miss when we're playing on Friday this week. So
It'll
we'll
miss
miss
that.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Then I don't even have anything. I don't even have anything lined up. We're going. Oh, I can't even say. No, I don't have, have anything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that leads to another question then is how do people find out what you're doing as far as shows? Is it the website, social media?
My
Where do they?
website. Yeah. Yeah. My website. Yeah. I don't know. I'm very like control freak-ish. So like if someone goes to my website and finds stuff there or orders there instead of Bandcamp, then like I get all of it. And like, yeah, it's so nice. I don't know. Nobody, it's, have you noticed like Facebook events and stuff? That's not a thing so much anymore. I can't keep track of my social calendar, that I don't have that much of. But like now I have to like, if I want to go to a show, I gotta like screenshot the kids' Instagram so that like I don't forget. Like if no one's reminding anyway. I don't know. It's a new world.
It is, it is. Yeah, I have like 300 things in notes on my phone that I've just typed out, and then I have to figure out what they mean months later. And
Yeah, yeah.
what is this?
But
This seemed important, but yeah.
but I went on poster today, so some things never change, right?
Well, that's good. I'm glad that's still a thing because a lot of people don't even bother with that anymore, right? I mean, they just post it online and hope that Instagram or TikTok or whatever the algorithm will do it for them. But it's always cool to see posters because I mean, it's seemed like such an essential part of putting on shows. Like I haven't been in a band in 15 years, but I mean, when I was in bands, that was what you did. You'd go spend the whole afternoon with a staple gun and a big stack of posters, and that was part of it, right? And I don't think that's so much the same anymore, except for obviously there are people out there who are still doing it that way. It's always cool to see.
Yeah, I've been doing the same damn things this whole time. Like the whole exactly, I haven't changed a damn thing this whole time. And like the psychics, we had such a hard time. Like I did the same things, and like I don't know, now I'm doing the same things and people like it and see it, and it's so awesome. So I don't know what to say other than like, fuck, it takes a long time of working your ass off before anybody like cares, man. Oh man.
But it seems to be working though, right? I mean, people seem to be. I think just between like the last time we talked on the podcast and now, I definitely see your name appearing more often wherever it is that I see things. And, yeah, like posters and the albums are getting reviewed and things. Like it seems like whatever you're doing is working.
Yeah, like I get these dope gigs, but then the next week you still can play to an empty bar. So it's like uh I'm not bringing the party as a person. Like I'm not a bring all your friends, right? So like if someone comes, they come because they like the music or what. It's dope. It's dope. I don't know. I don't know. That part, if you bring the party, then that can only last for a while because your friends grow out of that, right? Like my friends grew out of that, and I didn't bring
Yeah.
the party when they were into it. So like it's all good, right? Like yeah, I don't know
So
what to say.
So your stuff is more for the type of person who's going to sit there and actually listen to the record like with headphones on and absorb it and actually take the whole thing in. And the same thing live, right? As someone who actually is really into what they're hearing.
Oh yeah, I actually kind of feel terrible sometimes playing live because well, I love playing live. I love doing it, but I feel bad to do that to the audience because I know they're there to have like a fun time. Like they're out there to party and have a fun time and I'm like, okay, here's a downer, like this
Yeah,
is a downer, like feelings, you know what I mean? But then there's always people who like are right there feeling it with you. So it's fine and I don't know, just do it because it feels good to do.
yeah. Well,
But
that's
then
what
I
it's
always
for, right?
like I'm not getting that gig again.
But that one guy in the front who is feeling it, that's who you're doing it for.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, holy shit, you heard the lyrics? No way.
You're actually paying attention. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more time, what are the details of the listening party before I let you go here?
Party, yeah. December 1st at the Handsome Daughter in the front room at 8 o'clock.
Cool. And it's just going to be the whole record back to front.
yeah, the whole record back to front, and me and Cody will be hanging out there celebrating. And like, if you haven't seen us in a long time, if you haven't seen us since the Psychics were a band, then come say hi.
Do you think
Oh,
you'll get some of
and
those?
what?
Do you think you'll get some people who like are Psychics
I
friends from?
hope so. Oh, I hope so. It'd be nice to see some people. And like, I run into people and they always ask about Cody. So like, come say hi to him. He's out. I'm bringing him out. I promised him dinner. He took the night off. Yeah. And oh, and I dug out like a box of old Psychics merch that I had left
Nice.
over. So it'd be nice to like clean that out too. It's all like hand painted. And oh, I used to go so hard. So like, I'll like just come take it so it's not in my house.
That's awesome. Cool, cool.